Alright, so allergies are beating me up pretty bad. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly and coherently as possible before I go back to laying down and not doing a whole lot. So I kind of wanted to talk about, for this week, some cool stuff I saw, and the first thing being Maximilian Dude's tier list video rant. If you care at all about tier lists, I think it's worth watching. He's a really experienced former competitive fighting game player, but he also has like a really popular stream. It's a lot of fun. He makes some pretty good videos. He's actually the guy that got me into Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I watched some of his Mortal Kombat stuff, but I've never been good at NetherRealm games, so I'm probably not digging into the new Mortal Kombat. However, the tier list rant is pretty interesting and worth watching because he has a pretty good stance, and I think, you know, if you play Super Smash Brothers, a lot of Smash players throw around their tier lists and their tier rankings a lot. But also if you don't, I mean, there's tons of games. Hearthstone has tier 1 deck, tier 2 deck, tier 3 deck, and World of Warcraft has like the highest DPS class, highest DPS spec, and so on and so forth. And he basically, the TLDR for his video is those tier lists are usually made by people who have spent way too many hours on way too many spreadsheets and matchups that they understand and they know what they're doing, but like, you at your level, you're not the highest level of competitive play normally for like whatever game you're playing, so you really shouldn't worry about tier lists. And people make a lot of judgments over tier lists, and they pick a top tier character because they're considered top tier by the pros, regardless of how good the player is with that character. And it's a pretty good video. Gaming Brit also released a Days Gone video, which is half of it is pretty funny. If you like action games like I do, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, etc., he makes a lot of those videos, and so he does like a pretty goofy thing talking about Days Gone. But then the other half is he makes a pretty interesting sort of proposition for the future of games, as well as stagnation in innovation, alongside, how do I want to phrase this? Like, by comparing it to past trends, because Days Gone, regardless of how competent it may or may not be, is an amalgamation of tons of popular things in video games. It's open world, it's serious narrative-driven survival, like horror, it's got zombies, it's got third-person shooting, you know, and so he talks about that. Now, tomorrow is the start of week 2 of Grandmasters for the Hearthstone setting. Week 1 was actually pretty terrible, I would say. So that's like the big Hearthstone tournament, and it was essentially just a bunch of control warriors. Particularly in the American region, there was a lot of rogue, but there was mainly, to stop rogue, they picked control warrior. And control warrior is really boring to watch. Competitive Hearthstone is already really boring to watch because of how long it takes. But that's a video for another time. But this is even more so because control warrior, they take really long turns, and they have really long games. And so Blizzard, just almost immediately afterwards, and whether or not this had to do with how absolutely boring the Grandmasters tournament was, immediately nerfed cards. They immediately nerfed a Control Warrior staple card, and they nerfed a bunch of rogue cards, so hopefully, you know, people will bring Control Warrior to beat Rogue, but now if Rogue's nerfed, now they're not going to bring Control Warrior. And this is kind of a big deal. The bigger deal, I guess, if you look at it, is this is their reaction to competitive play. Hopefully that's good, because they shouldn't have competitive play be so boring, but also there was a really big problem I talked about last week with Warrior and Rogue, and hopefully if one of them leaves, then like more things come in to counter it. Right, apparently there's a lot of decks that come in that beat Warrior. I don't know, I'm not a Hearthstone expert. But they're also buffing cards for the first time in Hearthstone history. They never really buff cards. And so they're buffing a bunch of bad cards, or in a few cases some good cards, and they're giving everybody who logs on a free legendary. And this legendary is actually really, really good. It's a new card. It's a brand new legendary, and it's going to be free if you log on to collect it. And that's kind of all the video watching news. In terms of games I was playing, me and my buddy James, we streamed and played Resident Evil 5. Unfortunately, allergies really killed me on the first day, so I was really sleepy, tired, and like not in a great mood. But the second day, I was feeling a lot better, feeling more of myself, and it was a ton of fun. We were crushing it. It was a great time. We were playing on like veteran, like hard mode, and man, it's been such a long time since either of us had really played that game. We were getting like slapped up and down, but it was still a lot of fun. I had a good time. And I also bought Spy Party, and I was playing Spy Party with some of my friends, and then streamed it last night. And that game's a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. We had like a competitive Spy Party person end up joining the stream, and like talking to us, and it was pretty cool. The other thing I was playing was I beat Resident Evil Revelations, and that game was a lot of fun. It's like I believe it had better mechanics and better gameplay overall than Resident Evil 5. Like the solo like gunplay, I think the level design was a lot better. Had you backtracking and had like weapon upgrades and things like that. I thought that was really cool. I think the story was terrible, absolutely garbage, like even worse than 5's. Like it just took itself so seriously, and it was so bad. But it was still really fun. The game was a lot of fun. And then I played. I've been getting back into Smash Ultimate. And I've been playing a lot of Toon Link. Toon Link is who I played in Smash 4. And now in Smash Ultimate, Toon Link is not very good. He's not a very good character. But I still like his art design and stuff like that. And I'm not like super big into doing combos and things along those lines. I'm pretty good at neutral. I'm pretty good at doing basic attacks and like small capitalizations on stuff. But I can't do any combos. And I don't know. It's whatever, but I've been having some fun. I beat everybody I played against online, which is pretty cool. And then I brought my friend over who's really, really good at Smash Brothers, and he then just like whooped my ass on stream for a couple hours. And then we got to play on some maps. That was pretty fun, some custom maps. The custom maps are really, really good. My favorite's definitely the Smashkaball, like basketball, but with Smash characters. I also picked up Team Sonic Racing. I want to call it Sonic Team Racing because Crash Team Racing is called Crash Team Racing, but I think it's called Team Sonic Racing. Whatever. It's just like a fun Mario game. It's like Mario Kart, but with Sonic characters. But it looks really good, and I think the music's really good. And I like Sonic more than I like Mario, so I like the Sonic characters more than the Mario characters. It's nothing special. I think I would agree with like Jimquisition and a few other reviewers saying that the game is like totally understandable and really passable, and I think that's what it is too. But it had been a while since I played a racing game, and it is a lot of fun. It has a really cool teamwork mechanic where you can either play solo or with a team, and if you play with a team, unlike in Mario Kart, you get to interact with your team. You know, you can speed boost off each other, you can help recover a teammate if they spin out. You can trade items, and that's really cool. That's really neat, and I enjoy that a lot. And then, finally, in gaming news, I guess Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 all came out on the Switch. And I'm a little conflicted about this because, one, I'm not buying any of these games. I own them all on modern-day consoles. But apparently people are upset that they're the same ports that Capcom released for the 360 and for the PC back in 2011, and they don't add any new features to it. And I'm conflicted because I get what they're going for, which is I can't believe Capcom's just selling these games that they've already sold a million times before, but just on a new system. And yet I also don't get why it matters if it's still the same port that everybody was really happy with or tolerated from before, right? Like, I played Resident Evil 4 for the first time on the 360, so I know the 360 version really well. And it comes with all this content. I don't see anything wrong with that being anybody's first version. And I had no problems playing it, and now I play it on the PC all the time. So I don't really get what the big deal is if Capcom just like shoved out another port, but it's just on a much more popular console and on handheld. So, but apparently it is a problem. Apparently some people are really upset about it. They're not very happy. I didn't look too much into it. I just looked at the general consensus, which is it's the same thing that they got years ago, but just on a new system. And I kind of get it. And I also think, like, no one's making you buy it, and if you don't want it for the Switch, you don't have to have it for the Switch. And I don't know why they have to care about making gyro controls or anything. Like, I'd rather them focus on making actual games, like new things, than doing ports. Another thing is, this just happened today, is we got X-Men characters in the new Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I know we saw Wolverine, but now we got like Juggernaut, Magneto, and Psylocke, and that's really cool. I like Psylocke a lot. And then, what's the other thing? What's the other thing that happened? Oh my god. Bloodstained. Bloodstained. They finally, you can now pre-order it. You can put it on your wish list if you're on GOG or Steam. And, you know, the game's coming out June 18th, which is really exciting because it's 2 days after my birthday. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And then the last thing is FromSoft had announced a game that has some sort of George R.R. Martin writing in it. Some sort of medieval game or whatever. And you can look more into that if you want, because that's all I've really been able to dig up, is that there's a FromSoft game that has George R.R. Martin that has some George R.R. Martin writing involved, or consulting involved. And that's it. That's like pretty much all I've been able to really dig up, and I haven't really cared enough because there's no title, there's no pictures, there's no like explanation of anything. So it's probably something we'll see at E3. And that's really what I kind of looked at, you know, this week. Is that's, you know, some stuff's pretty exciting. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a game I really, really want to play. Not Curse of the Moon. Curse of the Moon is a great game that I really want to play too. I've played it so many times before. I'll play it after this. No, the new Bloodstained, whatever it's called, whatever the new Bloodstained game's called, the actual one, looks like a lot of fun. Castlevania Symphony of the Night's one of my favorite games ever, so I'm excited to play a new kind of version of that. And it's so close, I can taste it. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 looks like a lot of fun. I'm very excited to play that. And yeah, I don't know. We got some good stuff. They have these new Hearthstone changes, which look pretty cool for me. There is a classic WoW stress test I got invited to, but I mean, it's only level 5, so like, what's the point? But what is nice is that there is still, like, you know, they're clearly putting work into classic WoW. It's very visual. Unfortunately, we haven't heard too much about Reforged. We haven't gotten any real updates about Reforged. But regular Warcraft 3 did in fact get a patch a month ago, like a month or two ago, I believe. They got a new patch, which and they're working on some stuff on the PTR, but I wouldn't mind some more information. Anyway, I can ramble on about video games all day, but that's what I got in the week so far, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'm working on a real video. Don't worry. I'm working on it. I promise. All right, take it easy.
I mean, this is just and Sean Farnham. But if you are a Knick fan, this is the equivalent of being kidnapped, stored in a basement, being tortured, and then they let you out when you're of no use to anybody. I mean, you just can't make this up.